Okay, it's 3 o'clock, and that's when I said I would start the stream. And you probably guessed based on the title, I am doing a variation of the FreeBeam case, but this time for ATX. And the parts I'm going to be showing today are basically just the beginning of this project. They are just trial prints, and thankfully the trial parts didn't take up too much filament, but without further ado, let's just get started on this. And so I already have one of the prints done already. Oops, let's turn that off. I don't want that automatic tracking. Okay, so I do have one of the prints done already, and the other prints just finished, so let me go ahead and grab those out, and let's go do that right now. Ooh, and it's still warm. So basically not many parts for this particular trial, and you'll see why soon. I'll just take it off. Just looking over my prints right now, it looks like I may need to do some more tuning. There's a bunch of like stringing, and I totally forgot to put a supports in this one particular hole for the power button, but I think it should still work though, and we'll find out. But good thing is the adhesion for the Cheetah X-Max 3 build plate has been no issues for me at all, so I'm really happy about that. In my previous printer, it had like a glass bed, and it gave me lots of troubles. I have since turned it into a flexible magnetic bed as well, so things are better with it, but mainly using the Cheetah X-Max 3 now. I'm going to turn this off so we don't need to hear it. I wish the power button was like on the other side. Alright, that's a little quieter. Okay, so basically the case today only has mainly 3 parts to it. I did print out little feet, but these aren't really part of the design. These are from the previous case I showed if you saw my other videos, the micro ATX version, but they should work for this version as well too. And to get started, I guess I'll just begin processing. So there's not much actual processing, so besides like the stringing that happened in here, I guess I could just kind of pull out the parts that didn't print well because I didn't put any supports, but otherwise I think it's ready to go. And so I do need to install some heat inserts for this, and I have my soldering iron here already, not turned on yet so I can touch it. But as usual, I'm going to be turning it on now and setting it to, I believe I set it to like 280 degrees Celsius. And while I do that, I'll be good for once and put on my safety glasses. And then I'm also going to turn on my fume extractor because this has gotten a little stinky once in a while. So bear with me with the audio. And if the audio is funky, let me know. And we got a chat saying it's Fondian says, hey, how's it going, Fondian? Yeah, if you have any questions, if you just dropped in, just feel free to put them up. I'll try to answer them as best I can. But basically, I'm going to be going over a version of the FreeBeam using ATX this time. So the previous ones were ITX and then micro ATX, and today I'm going to be showing the very beginning of ATX version. And hope y'all like it. Okay, so this should be up to temp now, and I've been trying to use just one heat insert size for all the cases now, and so for this particular one we are going to be going with these M3 heat inserts. And I have like baggies of them, and I'm already almost out of my my first baggie, so I may have to put an order in soon. I can smell the soldering iron. Okay, so let me change the camera view so that you can kind of see what I'm doing. And first off, we're going to be putting the heat inserts for the motherboard tray. Now obviously this is ATX, and so depending on what motherboard you're using, you may not need to use all the holes. I know that for the particular board that I'm going to be using, it's quite odd where it doesn't, usually ATX will use these like middle portions, but this particular board does not. And so I will not be installing those. So let me go ahead and just start. And luckily I only need to do 9 this time around. Okay, I have to open up the new pack now. And yeah, so basically I printed it out on the Cheatytech X-Max 3. Once again, I'm using PETG with carbon fiber. I really like this stuff. I know that, you know, there's lots of people doing tests. I think some of those tests are actually wrong. I think technically you're supposed to anneal this filament, but no one does that. But it's just, I think it's just a stable filament when I'm printing, so it's like less headache for me. I don't know how you all feel, and I'm sure that people watching here do 3D printing, but it kind of stresses me out. It's almost like you don't know what you're gonna get sometimes. I know people will say like, oh, just get a bamboo, but there's too many failures on that end too that I see. Probably less, but you still get failures. I would still get nervous, I think. And then for this particular test, I think this is like only, I want to say maybe like 200 grams, so pretty happy about that since I didn't have to like use up an entire roll. I've had tests before where it's like, not only did the test fail, but it took up a lot of filaments, so thankfully this little test here won't be taking up so many. And also, yeah, I think it's, you know, wishing everyone a good Friday today. Super stoked it's end of the week already. Oh, and as usual, if the fan's too loud, let me know and I'll maybe like turn off the mic. That way you also don't have to listen to me yapping. Almost halfway there though. And for background, I actually attempted a full ATX build many years ago using the MakerBeam system, and it was somewhat successful, but I think this one will be better. Fingers crossed. It's better in a sense that in the previous one I tried to use the MakerBeam cubes, and basically the cubes didn't work for me. I even contacted the manufacturer and told them about my problems. They even sent me like new cubes and new screws, but it was still the same issue. But recently, in my previous builds, I think I've been talking about just like buying this like M3 screw kit, and I found out that it was actually the screws that were the issue. Well, it could have been both the cubes and the screw, but the screws I have now allow the system to work, so I'm pretty stoked on that. Okay, so I think I have what I need for the motherboard. Let me just do a little dry check really quick. And you might laugh, the motherboard I'm using today is this like super old one from who knows what year, but it's an old 8-bit board. It's the IP35E. This was a really nice board back in the day. Obviously not anymore. I don't know if even 8-bit's around anymore, but in my opinion, they were better than like Asus and all the other ones. But I guess they weren't good enough to stay alive. But I think I have all the holes I need. Perfect. Alright, so the motherboard tray is done. And now I'm going to move on to the rear panel, which will be taking, I believe, what will it take? Oh, that's right. So, because it is ATX, there are a lot of mounting holes here. And I'm not going to fill up every one. But basically I'm only going to be filling up the ones I'll be using today. And it's only going to be 2 just for the GPU. And if you want to see more put in, let me know. But I don't know. I don't think anybody needs to see any more of these. But this one's a little funky getting in. Oops. But I think it should be fine. So I'm just going to put it in like that. And then, instead of putting it straight down, I'll just be pressing it on that side and just watching it. I hope I did this the right way. I don't actually... No, I think this is the right way. I'll probably end up touching it and you'll see smoke come out. No big deal. Alright, there's one. And then put another one in there. Let me see if I can zoom in a little bit more. I know it's a little pixelated, but maybe it'll be better? I don't know. Can it even zoom this close? I don't think it can. Yeah, it's kind of really blurred out. It's bad enough it's pixelated, but now it's blurred out, so we don't need that. I don't think you need the zoom view for that. Let me go ahead and just melt this one in. Okay, I think that's good. So I'm only installing 2, but obviously if you need more, go ahead and put in more, but my video card is only a 2 slot, and I will only be needing 2. Now before I turn this off, let me just triple check I'm not missing anything. So I know that the power supply mounts here. I don't need to put heat inserts for the power supply. These will go into the maker beams themselves. Maker beam... yeah, I think I'm good. Unless I misread. No, I think it should be fine. Okay, cool. All I need is 2. If I need more, I'll just put in more. But the soldering iron is now turning off. And I shall also turn off the fume extractor. Maybe it might help the audio a little bit. But while we're here, maybe I'll do a little dry fit for the I/O panel. Did I get this right? It looks like it. Cool. I think it goes like this. Alright, awesome. Take that off for now. Alright, so that was literally the post-processing that was needed for this particular trial build. Let me take these safety glasses off. I don't think I need them anymore. And now I can move on to actually putting the case or chassis together. Now again, this is just the beginning of the project, so you won't really see much, but you'll see enough that you can be like, hey, I can use that. So that's why I'm showing it today. All right, so for this build, I am again using the Maker Beam extrusions. I have them linked in the description, I believe. So if you want to know which parts I'm using, just check those out. Essentially, I'll be using 8 of these 300mm extrusions, and then 4 of the 150mm extrusions. And I'm also using the Maker Beam cubes. Might be a little hard to see, but basically they're little cubes that go to the corner and they hold the extrusions together. And before I wasn't able to use them, but just recently with the new screws I have, they've been working, so I'm pretty happy about that. Because for a hot second there, I basically just wasted like $20-something on things I would never use, and I don't know why I didn't return them, but maybe I thought in my head like, hey, I can maybe like one day like make them work, and lo and behold, they work now. All right, so now I need to think about what T slots I need. So where are my T slots? Give me 1 second here. I thought I was being organized and had everything set out, but oh no, I did. Look at that. I totally forgot. I even organized them in this little like magnetic pad. You'll see it off screen. Okay, so to put the extrusions together, normally in my previous builds you saw me actually attach them directly to the plastic panels. But in this case, it's basically just attaching to itself and to the corner cubes. And so let me go ahead and show you how that works. But let me pause for a second to think about what T slots I need inside the slot. So I'm going to start from the back and then make my way forward. And this is the back. As you can see here, this is going to be like where the PCI tabs will rest, and then the expansion cards will be right over here. Obviously, you saw me put in the motherboard I/O in this little hole here. And this section here is going to be where the power supply itself is going to be. And I did not mean to zoom in like that, but it zoomed in anyways. Okay, so I know that one of the rails is going to need 2 T slots, so 1, 2. So let me go ahead and install 2 of those right now. And 1 and 2. Let me do table view, that way you can kind of see. Yeah, so again, we've got these 2 holes over here, and they will then correspond with these 2 T-nuts that I just put in. And so since those are in, okay, let me just double check if I got this in my head right. So those are in. Okay, so now I can actually begin putting in these corner cubes. And there is an orientation to them, but if you use it, you'll kind of like figure it out, because it holds 3, and so like there's like a flat part here. Let me see if I can zoom in on that. There's a flat part as shown, and then it has these hollow parts where basically you'll be putting your screwdriver through. So just make sure that you have it oriented so that all the flat parts are going to be like towards the interior of the case. And knowing me, I'm probably going to get that wrong, so let me just double check. Actually, I think I did have it wrong. Oh boy. Okay, so that is like that. Oh, this was still wrong. Again, so you want all the flat parts. So like there's a flat part here, because I know it's going to go up. And there's also a flat part here because I know it's going to be going towards the beam itself, and then another flat part here that goes towards the front of the case. So let me go ahead and install these first 2 cubes now. And there's a screwdriver. And this will be the boring part, obviously. Like, it's just a lot of screwing and a lot of me dropping the screws. One of my goals is to not lose a screw on the ground today. Hopefully I can meet that goal. Alright, so first one's in. Grab another screw. And thanks everyone for joining today too, by the way. I know it's Friday. Y'all could be going out and stuff, but or maybe you're just pre-gaming with me in the background. That's good too. I'm just going to go ahead and screw this. Alright, so the first 2 are in. Actually, maybe I can show you what I'm talking about. So right now, if I tighten these cubes, like they don't spin anymore. But let me show you with the original screws that came with the kit. So these are screws that came with the Maker Beam kit, along with the actual squares. And so let me show you what happens here. It was so frustrating. Like, I was so excited to like build all these things with these, and they just didn't work. But now it's working. What the heck? What in the heck? Or maybe it's just that special one. Let me see. I'm gonna try another one. I swear, I don't want to look like a liar, even though I guess I am. I swear, if these work now. I mean, I have video proof. I even sent the videos to MakerBeam. Now they work. Never mind, I'm a liar, but I guess my videos were fake. No, I'm sure it's like some of them worked and some of them didn't. And honestly, I think it really was just the screws. So maybe those 2 screws I just pulled out right now are actually working ones. But in my previous attempts, like none of them worked, and so yeah, that's that. Okay, so okay, we got these 2 T-nuts in here now, and that's just for one of them. I'm gonna go a little slow here. That way y'all can kind of keep up. But that's done there. And then I know that the case will have 2 beams that go up. So let me go ahead and install the 2 beams that go up on the back. And this way I can start putting in the screws for the tall side, I guess, if you want to call it that. Oh, see here, this one, oh, weird. So I'm using my new screw that I said was working, but now it's like spinning. Yeah, so this is so weird. So I have it super tight, but yet it's still rotating again. I don't know what's up with that. Like, is it the cube or that particular screw? Hold on, let me try a different screw. I'm wondering if it's just like, because these are pretty precise, and so I'm wondering if they're off by even just like, you know, half a mil or even less, like 1/10 of a mil. It could be enough to like really throw it off. So I'm putting a new screw in. Or it's just user error. You can just say that too. No, see, this one's tight now. Yeah, it's so weird. It's like so finicky, but when it works great. You just gotta hope it works for you. And then we got one, and now we're gonna put in another one. Let's see, Strahalankater says, "Hey mate, remember me? I printed out your ATX sandwich case you posted." And then they wrote, "I would love to see a micro ATX case with max build plate 256. So obviously with the micro ATX, we already have 2 versions. We have the version for 180mm, and then we also have another version that does, I think it's like 300. I actually have it behind me right now. So yeah, this is the, obviously I have the other one apart, the 180 version, but this is the, I think this is the 300 version. I could be wrong. Maybe it's like 320. But this is the one that fits in mine. For 256, honestly, I'm not sure how I feel about that, because that just means that I have to segment it, but it'll have like a segment that's like a quarter of the way. So imagine like I had to segment this because obviously my printer is not that big, but I guess if we were to do a 256 version, like this panel here would have to be like maybe like this thick. I'll think about it, because 256 is what Bamboo Labs is, right? And also Prusa. I'll think about that. But either way, though, I do appreciate you testing out my prints, and I hope you like them. And yeah, so I'll keep that in mind though for 256. There's just so many sizes to like take into account, and sometimes it's kind of just overwhelming. Okay, so I know that this piece is going to have 2 T-nuts on this side. So let me go ahead and do that right now. So I'm gonna throw in 1 T-nut here. and then another T-nut on the same side. And then this side also has 2 T-nuts. Okay, so let me go put 2 T-nuts on this side. Let's see, Strelicator. Look up the UXM1 or UMX1 by John's Bow. I was able to fit a micro ATX in it. Ooh, I'll check it out after the stream. But on that point, I do love like finding cases that you can kind of modify or like slightly just like cram like the wrong size stuff in. So I know that for a while there was like a handful of micro ATX cases that were out there that you can just like essentially throw in a full ATX board and maybe like flip the power supply over, and you would have like the pretty compact but powerful system. So I love that. I'll check it out after the stream. Let me change the zoom again. All right, so now that we've got the side T-nuts in, let me go ahead and, do I need to just install them now? Maybe I should just install them now. Okay, let's do that. Okay, so obviously the T-nuts in here are going to be pretty loose. Let me just move this to the side, hopefully not to drop it, so I don't break your eardrums. And basically, oops, I almost did it the wrong way. Sorry. Right now it's so the back is towards me right now, so bear that in mind. So what I'm going to do now is just basically kind of line up these T-nuts here so that they're kind of in the spot where I need them to be. And then I'll go ahead and drop it in. Yeah, and already you can kind of see the quote-unquote case coming to life. Let me go ahead and grab my screws. And I think the beauty of this again is like, because I did share a screw kit for y'all, hopefully there's not many like questions on what screws are needed. Basically, find the one that fits. But for this one, I think it's the 4mm. So you have the answer for that one at least. I'm going to put them a little semi-loose for now. I have a feeling I kind of went a little too far too soon, but let's find out. And I say that because I do have these 2 holes I need to put in here. And hopefully I didn't like kind of block my access to them too soon. I guess we'll see. It might just be a lot of like wiggling I have to do for this stream. Okay, so that's there. Yeah, I think I do have to do some wiggling here to find out where the T-nuts went. Hold on, no, I lost 2. Okay, we're gonna go one side at a time. All right, so we've got 1 T-nut there. I'm just gonna slide it towards the end here. So I have it a little loose, so it's allowing me to kind of just like slide the T-nut where I need it to be. And I totally missed it. Where'd it go? Oh, I went too far. Okay, there it goes. Yeah, so by wiggling it, you kind of like jiggle it into place, and then it'll allow you access to it. So some of these are really hard to get to. So like I have this screwdriver that I'm able to kind of take the bits off. And these don't need to be like super tight anyways. But it's good that I can take the bit off, and that way I can kind of just like finger it in. Boom. Okay, we got 1. Wait, no, I screwed up. I didn't realize I had 2 in there already. By the way, this might be a complete fail stream again, because this has not been tested yet, so you gotta bear with me. But so far we've been pretty lucky with the streams. We've had I think one of the first fails was like that that tiny little ITX workbench I created, and I didn't realize that the center of gravity was wrong on it. It was like tipping over, but that was like easy to fix. I think by the time the stream ended and I uploaded the CAD, it already had a fix for it. And just recently, I actually just had to like manually fix it for myself because I never printed it out again. But it was just as simple as like drilling some holes, and I was back in business. It's actually, right now, I have my gaming setup in there. And believe it or not, this particular build is going to be building up to my actual replacement, since I've stopped using my Sliger case. I don't actually have a full-time case yet, and so I'm designing one so that I can have my own case, because most of the cases I share with y'all, they're just for fun, really. I don't really have them as like my full-time. And so hopefully the findings I have with this little exercise will allow me to build the case that I want. All right, so that took a while, but we got one side done. And now we got to go and work on the other side. Okay, so maybe that's what I should have done. I just laid it on its side and then move the T-nuts over to where I think they need to be. And then screw it in. Okay, so that's a lot closer now, so I don't have to do too much wiggling or fiddling. All right, and Strelencator wrote, keep in mind micro ATX is 244 by 244, so that should fit the build volume of a Bamboo, which is 256 by 256. The UMX1 is what I was talking about, and it should only fit ITX and has only 2 expansion slots, but micro ATX have 4. For sure. You know, it's funny, like micro ATX having 4, but I think not many people actually like use the expansion. Hold on, I think I might have to modify the CAD file for this, because even with my removable bit, it's actually quite hard to get these screwed in. So what I might need to do is like actually put a slot inside here so that you can gain access to these holes. I do have a bit that'll allow me to do this at a right angle, but that's just like kind of ridiculous. Blame the designer. Gosh, who designed this case? Okay, but I think more or less we have what we need to move forward. Okay, so now for the top part, I only need 1 T-nut. So let me go ahead and put that in now and begin putting in the corner cubes. But maybe I can just put in this screw first and maybe even have it hold itself in place. And again, I'm using the 4mm versions of this. And it looks like I'm almost running out. I'm almost running out because I as you see behind me, I still have the micro ATX version fully built, and so there's obviously parts in there that I could like use for this build too, but luckily I think I have enough to not have to do that. All right, so putting the corner cube on one side there. And it uses these screws, yes, okay. But I will say that this this particular case that I'm showing right now is going to be fairly limited in what it can hold. Obviously, it's because I aim to be as small as possible, so that there's always a compromise that has to be made whenever you're going for size. But it is pretty cool that this thing is only going to be like 17.4 liters. So I'm pretty stoked on that. Obviously, like, it'll get bigger when I add the side panels on and whatnot. But for now, it's kind of neat to have what's supposed to be a fairly powerful system for only that size. Okay. I'm kind of bummed these screws aren't magnetic. I thought they were, unless the magnet on my screw is like dying. I keep missing the hole. Or maybe I can just put it in from this side. Let's see. Oh, that's the deal. You gotta go from the side and just let gravity suck it in. Do your job, gravity. Alright. Now for the other cube. I'm just happy these cubes are actually working right now. And then let me go ahead and drop this in. Let gravity do the work. Yay. Oh, and theoretically, this particular build that I'm doing right now should be able to fit a 5090, the FE version at the very least. Obviously, I don't have one, so I can't like prove it, but just based on dimensions, it should technically fit. The parts I'm putting in today are pretty old, but they are like full size, quote unquote. So hopefully it gives like enough of a demonstration to prove that this should be a pretty cool little ATX system. Okay, so with that, we now have the back panel done. Took a little while because of obviously the finagling you have to do with the T-nuts, but once you have it all together, it is a fairly sturdy little platform. So happy about that. All right, so now that we have the rear done, we can move on to the actual side. And from what I remember, I need to situate it like so. No, that's wrong. It's got to be like this. Yeah, it's got to be like this. Okay. So, all right, I goofed there. I was supposed to put in the T-nuts. Oh, jeez. Okay, so what do I need to remove these cubes? I screwed up. My apologies. It's definitely like an order of operations thing that has to happen here. And I already screwed that up. See, if this was a real video that I would post, like, it would all just happen like magic, but this is what you don't see in those videos. Let's see, so Captain Merc wrote, "How do I print a 5090 FE?" With a lot of money. I wish we just 3D print our video cards. That'd be the best. But alas, we cannot do that. All right, so before I screw this up again, yapping away, I know I need to install this motherboard tray over here, and I need 2 T-nuts in here. Okay. I guess I could technically like print out like a fake 5090 to like show it in there, but I just think it's such a waste of filament if I were to do that. I do have this other idea. I won't reveal it yet, but it would be like printing out a large video card for another purpose, but maybe I'll do that for the future. All right, just double checking again. Okay, I need it here. I don't think I need it on this side. Okay. All right, we got 2 T-nuts in here now. Did I forget something? I hope not. Okay, because I'm gonna close it up again. Thanks for bearing with me. Let's see. Print the 5090 FE and just download the memory. I mean, that is the ultimate hack, though, to download memory. Ooh, I almost lost a screw. That was the goal today, is to not lose a screw on the ground. And so far I've been good. But I almost lost that. Just get a real 5090 from your YouTube money. Yeah, what YouTube money? I wish. That would be the dream, though, to get like a free like 5090 from like NVIDIA to review or something. I have asked already, but they have a pretty strict like sample review pool, and I'm just not quite there. I'm also like not a reviewer. Like I'm not gonna sit here and like do benchmarks. Heck no. Some people find that fun. I don't. So that's why I don't get the reviews. And I don't think NVIDIA or any manufacturer would appreciate me taking their products and just like dismantling them. Just like destroying warranties. Okay, back at the side panel again. All right, so I think I have this right now. Okay, so now we've got this part here that's going to be holding our motherboard, and hopefully I got this right this time. Strellincator wrote, "Love your channel, mate. Keep it up." For sure, man. I really appreciate that. I do like this channel too. I mean, like it's still fun. Like I honestly, I think I forgot who I was talking to, but they were like talking about like what I should be doing to grow the channel, and they weren't wrong, but I just don't think it would be like aligning with what I want, right? Like I just want to like build cool stuff that I think is cool, and then hopefully other people also find it cool. But if I were to actually like grow this channel and basically not appease, but I guess cater to like a larger audience, it would just become like kind of like another tech channel in a sense. But I say that too, and I really should just be uploading more. The editing is just like not my jam, though. I wish I could be a better editor, but that's just not the case. All right, so we've got the back part of the motherboard tray on the channels now, and now I think I can bring it in one of the extrusions for the bottom and the top. So let me go ahead and do that right now. And I know I'm going to need 3 of these slots down here. I don't think I need to put in yet, because I have a feeling I'm going to be moving the case, and then I'm going to lose my goal of not dropping stuff on the floor. Ooh, I am running out of these little small 4mm screws though, so I may need to possibly cannibalize the other case soon. Okay, so there's that. Actually, speaking of 3D printing a video card, I was supposed to do a favor for this one gentleman named Saper. He's the guy who built, like, ooh, I almost lost that screw. He's the one who built the Dr. Saber case. But he has this really cool idea on like how to one second, I'm trying to talk and do this and it's not quite working. How to like put the power connector in a different spot for a video card so that it'll be like cleaner cabling. And he actually provided me with some 3D print files to showcase it. I just haven't gotten around to it, unfortunately. But I think eventually, I think soon I'll check it out. That way I can kind of show you all what he's kind of envisioning. Because I actually do agree with what he's envisioning. I just haven't gone around to it. Okay, so we've got that corner in. And now I need, okay, this is where it gets funky. Because I know I need these screws for the bottom. I did run out of screws. Hold on, what can I cannibalize? This one used like 5 mils. Maybe I just don't have any more because I just used so many. But thankfully, I also have this other kit in the description. So these are kind of the same, but they're just, I got them because they're a mix of both flat heads with a taper, along with button heads with a flat interface, and so that's why I got both of them. But this will also work for what we need today. We're just gonna have some color mismatch, and hopefully you won't see it. Hopefully, but you probably will now that I've mentioned it. All right, so I know that I need to throw in these slots here. Oh boy, this is gonna be there's gonna be a lot of wiggling. All right, looks like we're doing some wiggling. I just hope this actually works out. I guess while I'm doing this, I do want to ask you, this particular case design can work both in like a this is the conventional orientation. So as you see, this is where all the expansion cards are. So this would be like the conventional orientation. But I do have it modeled in like an inverted orientation. And I asked that right now because I am going to be installing feet on this one. And so if someone can write what they want to see, let me know as soon as possible, because I do have to decide where I want to put the T-nuts in. So if someone in the chat could like say what they want to see, go ahead and do that, because I do need to decide. And if no one votes, then I'll probably just like leave it inverted. But now's your chance to help decide how you want to see this thing. No, I'm going to go one at a time. This is silly to put all three at the same time, because then I actually don't know like which screw or which T-nut I'm looking at. Oh, what? Look at that. I can never mind. You know what? I'm going to... So right now what I've done is like I've like flexed it away from the rail, and it's now giving me like a visual of where these T-nuts are. And I should take advantage of that before I can't do it anymore. If I just don't move it now, I should be able to screw these in. That's if I don't move them. Okay. I have to do my little trick again to put the bit in there. I don't see anyone putting in what they want, inverted or conventional, because it's going to be stuck that way once we finish it. There's no way I'm going to be doing both, because that involves taking out all the corner screws at the end. Well, I guess what I could do is just like install it for both. Maybe I'll do that. I'll just have some that are like free floating. Okay, you don't have to vote then. We'll just have some that are free floating, so that way if people want to see it like inverted or conventional, we can make it happen. All right. And obviously too, like this is a printed part for ATX, but I mean, there's nothing stopping you from just using this and putting an ITX board in there too. I almost lost a screw, by the way. All right, so we are out of the black screw, so now we are in the we're using the the silver screws. And I just remembered I might need this little Allen key that comes with the kit, because you know, previously I was able to remove these and use them for the tight spaces, but that's no longer going to be the case for this particular screwdriver that comes with the Maker Beam kit. All right, so I'm going to now do the other side of the motherboard tray. So I don't think I can push this one too far because it's connected to the end, but I can get it close enough. So I'm going to go ahead and wiggle that down. It went too far. Oh. Alright, so I found it and I'm just going to shove it center. Alright, and now I can hopefully place this one in. Yay. Oops. No! Well, there's that. I couldn't do it. I just dropped a screw. Oh, wow. It sucks. Well, I didn't lose it, so that's good, but I did drop it, and so did not meet that goal of not dropping stuff on the ground for the stream. This screw does not want to go in. Why are you fighting me? Let's try a longer one, because that was the 4 mil. Let's try a 6 mil. I feel like the 6 mil is going to be too large or too long, but let's see. So it definitely works, but not that tight. No, I don't like this. Let's see, this is a 6 mil. I wonder what I have in here. Let's see, these are 6 mil as well, but I'm wondering if they will go deeper. No, they will not. What I could do is use the 6 mil with the flat, and hopefully it sits a little higher. Let's see. Shout out to your stream sponsor. I'm going to watch a movie with mine. What movie are you guys going to watch? Or is it like one you can't talk about out loud? Because that'd be a really good couples outing. You know, it's funny. I haven't been keeping up with what movies are out or not. For all I know, I'm like missing out on like really cool movies right now. But just haven't been interested. And you know, when you have like Netflix and all the other streaming services too, it's almost just like overwhelming. It's like, why go to a movie when like there's so many on my wish list I haven't turned on yet. Oh, by the way, so I was able to get a flat head, or the button head screw in that one particular hole. It was giving me issues, so actually, oh no, I was thinking, should I use a black one, but I forgot the black one will sink in because it's tapered, but that one worked out there. I just hope it's not going to bite me in the ass later. It probably will. Let's keep going. Oh, whoopsies. Sorry if that was loud. Sorry for that. Just dropping everything, just butterfingers. Whoa, hold on. Why isn't this not catching? Okay, there it goes. It finally caught. No, it did not. I guess I might have to use the button heads. I guess the tapers I've put in, or the countersinks I've put in, aren't working very well for this print. I did notice that there was like it looks different, like the print itself, the quality versus like what I'm normally used to. I'm wondering if I should have dried it longer, or maybe this is just another like dud batch. I don't know. At least that little trick works. So I do have countersinks in these holes to accept the taper head screw, but because the the screw's not sitting well for some reason. I'm having to use these button heads. So this one here, I think, might need the shorter one. It's like bottoming out too fast. Let's try one of the short ones. Is this one? Oh, this one's also bottomed out. I don't get it. So this is fully locked in. Maybe I have to just push it in like with force. Let's see. Let's try it with force. Ooh, almost dropped another one. Let's see. Animov here wrote, "Hey, do you think it may be smaller using water cooling?" Believe it or not, this particular case, you have two options. That's I put it as a short on my channel, but I asked like, what would you prefer, like a short air cooler or a 180 millimeter AIO? So it is actually going to be either or right now, Animov here. So it's really going to be your call. So I do have the option to put in a short little air cooler. And if you want more cooling, obviously, like the argument is that, you know, a small AIO can't even match the cooling performance of like an air cooler. What is up with these screws? Wait, that's in now. That's so weird. Yeah, so people will argue that the 120 millimeter AIO is kind of a useless product, but I think in this situation, because it's such a tight fit, in order to get like better cooling out of it, you will probably have to go with a 120 millimeter AIO. And give me 1 second. And I showed you the bare 120 millimeter radiator I have here, but I also have this thing that just came in recently. This is not sponsored. This is bought by money, you know, from the Patreon people. So thank you for that. But basically, this is a pretty cheap AIO. It's like 35 bucks. It's made by Thermalright, and it's the same price as their like their Peerless Assassin or whatever. I have it in the streaming PC that's streaming right now, actually. But yeah, so it's either a 120 millimeter AIO or a very small air cooler, and that's kind of the compromise for this particular build. And so it's up to you how you want to answer that question. And then to also answer your question about like making it smaller, yeah, you can definitely make it smaller. So you'll see soon that like there's like space here that's not being used, and basically it's only as big as it is because of the maker beams that I'm using right now. So keep that in mind. Okay, so we've got one side in, and I think we are now ready to freely install the rest of the maker beam extrusions without thinking. No, I take that back. No one answered, but do we want inverted or do we want conventional? So basically with conventional, the video card will be sitting like so. So this is conventional. Video card will be like this. All right. And the other option is inverted, where the video card will then be sitting like this. So I asked that because I know when I made the micro ATX version here, it's inverted. And so, and people have asked like, oh, can we just make it conventional? And obviously the answer for this one was a no / maybe, because I said it was a slow. I said it was a no / maybe because the power supply in this particular build, I felt like it needed to sit in a way that gravity could hold it down, and then it could also bear the weight of itself onto the feet. Versus if I were to do it conventional like this, the weight of the power supply would actually be like kind of pulling down onto the case, and so that's why this one was forced to be a inverted design. But for this one, because we are using the Maker Beam rails, it's pretty darn strong, so I don't really care which direction the power supply will be. So no one's voting. I'm gonna go, I think I'm just gonna go inverted. Yeah, I'm gonna go inverted. All right, no one else voted. It's going inverted. So that means that the you'll be looking at the case like this, where the video card will be pointing fan side up, kind of like this. Because no one. Oh, okay. So Captain Merc. Okay, yeah, we're going inverted. You agree with me, Captain Merc. Captain Merc, you know, you're clutch. You came in, voted, and now you're gonna get your vote. We're going inverted. All right, so introverted. I can't read, I guess. Yeah, I guess it is introverted. I mean, it is a Friday, and I'm in my garage, and it's kind of still sunny out. So yeah, it is going to be introverted for sure. All right, so let me go ahead and install the rest of the stuff now. So now that we've voted that it's going to be inverted, Fondant came in with an inverted vote as well, so it's going to be inverted. So now I know I need the feet on this side, so I'm going to slide those feet in now, because this is going to be closed up very soon. Okay. And, well, I guess I don't need to put those ones yet, but let me go ahead and work on the front portion. And what I'll be doing is I'll be showing you the radiator bracket that's going to be held in the front, in case you wanted to go water cooling. But it also acts as I mean, even if you go air cooling, it's probably still best to install this. That way you can have a front fan. Because, again, because of the compromises of making this as small as possible, there aren't as many options for fan placement, especially if you're going with the ATX motherboard. If you go with micro ATX or ATX, you actually open up more options for yourself. Like, you could technically put in a 240mm AIO on the top, and if you go ITX with like a new video card with those really short PCBs, like for instance, like this guy here has a pretty long PCB in comparison to its cooler. If you look at the new video cards nowadays, some of them are like literally like only half of this and the rest is just all cooler. But when you do go water cooling with those, it means that you can have a much shorter card. And if you go that route, you could also put in a 240mm radiator in the front of this case as well too. So it's really up to you and how much money you have. So if you're rich, you can do a lot. But that's like everything in life, I think. All right, so right now I'm dealing with the front of the case. And I think I can actually just close these up right now, though. I'm going to go ahead and do that right now. Oh yeah, I forgot I ran out of screws. Hopefully these ones reach. I haven't tried them yet. I guess I should buy more screws. Oh, that's pretty tight. Sweet. Okay, I know I don't need to put feet on this, so I can close these up for sure. Watch me regret those words. It's like the theme of this stream, or any of these streams really, is just regret. No, it's not. Steve Burr, question, have you ever thought of doing a custom glass panel case, cutting your own laminated glass panels? No, because I don't want to cut myself. I do have, I'll just show it right now. I think I showed it to my Patreon members. They've seen it for months now, but instead of cutting panels, Steve Burr, it is just a little sneak peek, but if you head over to the dollar store, they have these glass photo frames, and so that way you don't have to cut them. But I haven't gotten around to it, but you know, it's one of the future builds of like hundreds. A good question though. I did create a custom case a few years ago that I sold already, but it it did have like not glass, but it was a polycarbonate panel, and it wasn't clear. It was like a smoke black. It actually looked pretty sick. I'll see if I can like find it and maybe post it on the YouTube whatchamacallit, community page, because it was actually a really nice build. But if I could cut my own panels, man, that would be so sweet. I don't have the ability, nor do I really want to learn. I think, I think the learning process for that would be very messy and painful. Because I have seen those videos of those dudes in like China or whatever country where they're like cutting these huge panels by hand. They just like score it and then they like snap it with their finger. I don't know. So laminated glass is super easy to cut and not risky. Oof, I'll look it up. I believe you. I believe you. And by the way, so I told you before that these cubes didn't work, but let me show you what's happening right now. So I think it really is like dependent on which screw I'm using in the batch, but this is fully torqued in. Like I can't I can't turn this anymore without stripping the actual threads, but check this out. So fully bottomed out, and I can spin it like a little fidget toy. This actually would work as a pretty good fidget toy. But yeah, so before I didn't use these cubes because this is what they did. They just like spun around and it just made a mess of things. And right now it's doing the same thing with these screws right over here, or at least some of them, because some of them work, some of them did not. But yeah, that's what it is, and it sucks. And Valkyrie Rose wrote, "Hi, happy Friday. Just built my home theater PC." Ooh, nice. I know we can't post links in this chat, but maybe can you post like a website where you have posted it? Maybe just like not the actual like URL, but like or not the URL, but like just like, was it Reddit? Was it Imager? Maybe people can like look it up, because that'd be sick. All right, I'm going to try another screw to see if this one works. Man, this is a lot of fiddling. All right, crossing my fingers. This one does not. No, maybe it's just this cube, because this one's also doing the spinny spin. God, that's annoying. All right, let's try this cube. And I do have one more of these black ones. Maybe it's these silver ones that are just not the hotness. And Valkyrie's Rose wrote, "No, I just use an old 2010 server CPU, 16 gigs of DDR3 with error correction, wow, and then a GTX 970. That's a nice old school build. What CPU did you use?" While I'm waiting for that answer, the black screw, look at this. Now it no longer spins. Well, I mean, spins it because I like torqued it, but like this one's solid now. That's so annoying. It's like so finicky. Yeah, so this is like solid now, huh? It really is just like based on the screw, because I use like silver ones in this one, but for some reason for this particular cube, only the black ones work. All right, let's try again. Let's try a different screw maybe. All right, let's see. Now, I used to be super into like home theater PCs, but it all kind of started dying on me when I think when we got Netflix. Like, if some of you are old enough, like Netflix used to only be like CDs, but then once they started their streaming service, okay, that's weird. That the silver one worked here, so I don't get it. Valkyrie's Rose wrote, a Xeon 5650 6-core 12 thread. Nice, nice. Actually, do I have that CPU? My brother-in-law gave me like a free CPU, but I don't have a motherboard for it. But it was a Xeon. Do I know where it is? No, it's too. I think I see it, but it's too far. I don't want to have you stare at the leg lamp for that long. All right, so enough yapping. Let me see if I can get the rest of this stuff together. Just sitting here yapping away, but I'm not like wasting too much time. I'm just having a hard time with these screws. But it will be worth it though. I'm not going to do the little test, but I believe it was another case designer, Jacob Design or something. I think he showed like himself standing on these Maker Beam cubes. Oh, I see that screw again. It didn't work. And technically, I mean, I think I could stand on this one too. I'm not going to do it though. That seems excessive. Hold on, I don't get these screws unless they're just like cut weird. So Valkyrie Rose, do you have it as like a Plex server? Or is it just like a spare PC you just want to have to store movies and whatnot? Steve. Hey Steve, thank you so much. Oh my god, you don't need to do that, but I do appreciate it. Thank you so much. That's like, that'll pay for new corner cubes right there. Thank you. I don't know what else to say, but thanks. That's awesome, dude. I really appreciate that. That's crazy. You're crazy. I wish I was rich. Well, maybe by the time you keep doing that. No, stop. You're crazy, dude. Hey, we might have a market crash. Maybe I won't like cash that out in case you need it back, because who knows what's gonna happen. Oh, you're crazy. Thank you, Steve. Oh, dude, you need to stop. No, stop. I appreciate it, but that's excessive. You are crazy, dude. So basically, I don't like to like dox people, but Steve is a close friend of mine. He's just crazy. You're crazy, dude. You need to stop. But I do appreciate it. Thank you. But you need to stop. That's out of hand. And then, alright, so Fondant wrote, compare the length. So yeah, good point. So right now, I've actually been cherry picking the ones that are really short, because I have noticed that the longer ones are the ones that are bottoming out too fast. And I think, let me see if I can zoom in on this. I probably can't, but no, I can't. You can't see it. But basically, what's happening is the threads aren't tapped far enough into this taper. And what ends up happening is it bottoms out at the end of that thread, but then the taper hasn't mated with the surface of the cube, and that's what's causing it to spin. So I guess these aren't very good versus these ones. The black ones they do even, I wish I could zoom in more for y'all, but there's definitely a difference in the quality of how they've tapped those threads. Even though this is longer, it's still tapped deeper into the actual shaft and it allows it to bottom out. So actually, I'm an idiot. I should just use the black ones. No, I need the black ones still. What am I doing? No, I have the black ones set out just for these cubes. All right, yeah, this is the worst YouTube stream ever. No, it's not. But okay, I forgot I had these black ones set out just for this portion. I goofed again. I'm here wasting everyone's time, even though they're giving me so much money. You're crazy, Steve. You are crazy, but thank you. I do appreciate that. You've literally like paid for like 4 rolls of filament for this channel to survive, so I appreciate that. All right, so we're going back again with these T-nuts. They did fall out in the midst of me goofing. And Man, I don't even know what to do to thank you for that, Steve. Maybe you know what'll happen is when when Grand Theft Auto comes out, maybe I'll buy you like a really like sexy skin of like a girl that you can wear for me. Alright, so Animov here wrote, I think another good feature of water cooling in craft PC cases is possibility to bring out your radiator completely out of the case itself and just don't bother about airflow inside. True, that's very true. I don't. Do I have it with me? I guess I kind of do. I don't have it put together, but if you remember, they all kind of look the same. But this is the this is another ATX 3D printed case that I shared, and this is a magnet here. So basically, the way it's designed is that this front cover does nothing for the case. It's just really a facade. But if you see here, there's a bracket, and this is actually what holds the radiator in place. And there's really nothing stopping me from like pulling it out, or even, I guess again, pulling it out to even like accommodate for like a larger radiator. So yeah, to your point, yeah, having external would be definitely helpful. I love this case. So this is the first whatchamacallit ATX design that I shared for this channel, and even to this day, it's just so nice. But a lot of it is also just thanks to the Cheaty Tech X-Max 3. The thing printed it out really well. All right, so Steve, the rich guy, who wrote, "Don't do anything. I enjoy supporting it. It's really relaxing to watch your builds." Awesome, thank you. Yeah, I really do appreciate that, though. That's, I mean, I do want to say maybe stop, because like it's getting out of hand, but thank you so much. All right, so where was I? I am now installing the fan bracket. Yes. Oh, and I activated the zoom. All right, so I'm installing the fan brackets now for the front. And if you want, so if you are going to be using this for ITX or micro ATX, there's nothing stopping you from printing more of these out and holding more fans. So if you print out 2 of these and just put them side by side, it could technically hold the 240mm radiator for you as well too. So definitely got your options there. And let me go ahead and screw these in. But Steve, Grand Theft Auto 6, I think I actually might like get a PlayStation for it. Maybe you can join me. Do you? Unless you already have a PlayStation, I don't have one. I think the only console I have is like a Nintendo Switch, and that thing's just collecting dust as well too. But just watch Grand Theft Auto be a complete flop. But I think we should still play it though. I have a PS5. Never perfect. That way, maybe maybe what I should do now is like look out for like a used one or something, just in time for it. But maybe I should aim for the Pro. I heard it is faster. I don't really know anything about consoles though. But you will use it now, Steve. Once we have Grand Theft Auto out, and I think time will fly by. It'll come out. Hopefully, it doesn't get delayed. Probably will though. Knowing games nowadays. I'm so excited for it. Alright, so I don't need to tighten this up all the way yet, because I might need to shift it over depending on like how big that radiator is. But essentially it just like sits in the frame like so. Okay, so now let me go ahead and install the top bracket here, using the good screws that I saved and totally forgot, instead of finagling with the silver screws, which aren't the greatest, I guess. So I have them linked in the description. They have worked for a lot of stuff, but I guess not so reliable for these corner cubes. So not the biggest recommendation from me. But they still work for other stuff though, just not particular for these ones. But again, even the screws that came with the MakerBeam kit didn't work that well too, so I can't really fault them for that. I think really the tolerances they put for these corner cubes were just, they were too tight and maybe unrealistic. Okay, so we're close. Thank you for sticking around. We now have the front panel ready, and the case is inverted. So we're doing inverted, and it'll go like this. And so I can put in this rail. Okay, so let me go ahead and put in this bottom rail, because the bottom rail will have some T-nuts in it as well, just for the feet. So let's go ahead and do that right now. And almost dropped another screw. Almost dropped the T-nuts. I thought I took them out, but guess I didn't. Okay, so that is there. Okay. And now, whoa, so this one, okay, so, okay, I was about to say, even the black ones suck, but no, I just didn't tighten enough. It was user error. Okay, let me go ahead and throw this screw in, and screw it in. As you can see, it's almost coming together. All right, so we're going inverted. Well, actually, the votes were inverted, but someone came in with money, so Steve, do you want inverted or conventional? You might have final say in this. Or no, the other plan was actually, never mind. The other, well, I guess not. Do you want inverted or conventional? You can have the final vote. But I also did say that I was going to have it so that I was going to put all of them in. But I seem to be missing them now. Where did those go? Or maybe I used them all up already. Because I don't see them anywhere. Okay, cool. You're inverted. Okay, perfect. Because I don't know where my other... maybe I used them all up because I only have so many, and I have a full case built right now. Cool. Vote inverted. We're going inverted. All right, let me go ahead and zoom in for this. You may or may not want to see. I mean, there's not much to see. I'm just gonna install the feet probably. Actually, no, I'll put the feet on later. But for now, we have the T-nuts in, so we can lay it like so, and then we can put the top part on. And just get these screws ready. We're so close. What time is it? 4:23. Okay, that's not an hour, but I do appreciate people sticking around for it. I hope it's worth it. I think it's worth it. In my head, it's worth it. I actually haven't seen it put together yet, so we're all going to see this together. One thing, though, I'm not going to do any cable management. I'm actually going to be just installing the modular power supply without the cables because... Again, this is the motherboard we're putting in is I don't even know if it turns on anymore. I really just have it around for volume tests, and I actually don't even want to plug it in because this power supply I'm putting in for this test is actually brand new, and so I don't want to like plug it into like a dead board and possibly damage it. So you'll just see basically the components inside, but not the cables. And then to that point too, like more than likely when I have this case fully done with the plans I have for it, it's going to have custom cables because look at these custom cables. They're like so tiny versus what's in the stock cables. And so, yeah, it's got to be custom or else I'm not doing it. All right, so technically this is like the case. Right? I mean, maybe install the feet. It might be more fun. All right, let's see. I think I can use one of these. I hope I can use these. And again, these are the same feet that are installed on the micro ATX version. So I need to remind myself that when I upload these files. Wait, will this work? Or are these too long? I think these are too long. They seem to work. Okay. And then the feet, I'm just putting like arbitrarily on each corner. You don't really need to like go crazy precise on them. You could even add more if you want, if you love feet. But I'm only putting 4. We're so close though. You know, I'm totally gonna regret like if I needed to put in the motherboard before closing stuff up. But I don't think so though. The way I have it in my head, it shouldn't work that way. So right now we're all just like watching if the theory actually works out. I don't show it in all my videos, but there's been many times where I had to just like completely reprint everything because what was in my head did not match reality. All right, so basically the chassis is put together. So this is going to be the ATX version of the FreeBeam system. As you can see, it's pretty plain, but in the next coming weeks, you'll see what I have planned for it. So right now, it is like 17.4 liters. The dimensions are like, I think 170, and then 320, and then, yeah, 320, it's a square. So basically 320, 320, and then 170, that equates to like 17.4. It will grow a little bit once I put the panels in. For sure, the height will change to, I think, 325, if I'm not wrong. Wait, 300 plus 10. Yeah, so 325. And then the side will probably grow to like 150, 170, 180. So the size will be 180. The height will be 325. And then the length, I don't know quite yet. So it may be that I might grow it out the same way I grew out the micro ATX version. But I don't know yet. Because right now it does work. Like the space inside here should theoretically work for an RTX 5090. And so yeah, so I don't think it needs to grow anymore, but it might. But right now though, as a chassis, like you're looking at it right here. So let me go ahead and get the motherboard in and we can kind of like just look at it. So first things first is the motherboard. And let me go ahead and slide it in. Ooh, before I do that, I always forget this because I rarely use it, but this one does actually work with a IO shield. So in my other builds, I think even, yeah, even this micro ATX one, even though there is a hole for it, it actually doesn't work because the IO shield interferes with the extrusions. And so right now, actually, I forgot what it, oh, so there's actually an issue for this board in basically this last slot here will take some finagling to actually use, because right now the PCI bracket that goes into it will interfere with this particular bracket here. And so to make it work, you will have to like remove that bracket and install it in another way. I'll show how to do it in the future, but right now I'm just giving you a heads up. So if you have all your expansion slots populated, like you may have some issues, but that's the case for going small. Let me go ahead and set aside some screws for the motherboard now. Let's see. Steve Burrow, donating twice in a row triggered the fraud department for my bank, and they shut my card off. Oh my god. Oh man, I already confirmed it was me and it's back on. Oh, at least they turned it back on. I've had fraud before where like they just like turned it off completely and there was no way for I had to wait like 2 days before I could like use my card again. It was horrible, but again, thank you for the for the donation and all the troubles it's cost you. You're crazy, dude. But thank you again. All right, so now I mean it's hard to not much to see on the camera, but I'm just screwing in the motherboard now. I mean, I don't know what much to say about that, but you just line up the screws and screw it in. So this motherboard is so funky. Like the I/O panel has like so much force on it that I have to kind of like give like pretty strong pressure on it to like line up. And obviously once it's in, it like works out, but like it's just like the spring tension that they put on for the I/O panel is like so funky on this one. But it is a really old board. Maybe it's just how it was back then, where they like they really wanted like the best ground possible, and in order to do that you need pressure. But I don't know. I don't even use I/O shields for most of my builds nowadays. And some of the and some of the boards even come with like the I/O shield built in. Those are the high-end ones though. I'm still laughing about Steve and his locked out bank card. You're crazy, dude. But I'm glad it worked out though. That would have been, I would have felt even worse if I had known you were like out of a card for like even like 2 days. Cause it is a hassle when you need it, even like getting gas and stuff. It's like, man, I don't have any cash on me, so that would be just like a nightmare. I'm really surprised they turned it back on. It's like so fast though. Actually, never mind. I think maybe when I did have the fraud, I was like out of country, and so maybe I couldn't even call. So I was like maybe like texting, and they were like, "Oh, we don't trust that." So maybe the call is the right play. Okay, so just putting in this last screw, and this little sneak. So again, we're going inverted. So Steve wrote, my credit union is really good and easy to work with. I've had this happen a lot when I travel. Oh yeah, because you go to China and stuff for work, so in Europe. That's good though that they have your back like that. So that's super useful. Yeah. So here's the full ATX build in this little tiny 17-liter case, and let me go ahead and put in the. Do I want to put the motherboard or the power supply in now, or do I want to put in the video card? Maybe I want to put in the power supply. Let's do the power supply. All right. So, luckily for this build, in my micro ATX build, it did require like a short ATX power supply like this. This right now is a 140, but the previous photos I have with the micro ATX build did have a 150mm radiator in there. So not radiator, power supply, and so it is possible, but I think the smaller the better for this one. And thankfully a lot of the new power supplies are coming out with shorter dimensions, which is I think a good thing. And if you're not aware, some of the new ones have like their breakout I/O like perpendicular to the case, or that comes out like this way versus like out this way, and I think that's so cool. All right, and then Steve Burr wrote, I'll be in Belgium next week. Darn, man, that's a lot of traveling. You must be getting like mad points from all that. That's sick. Okay, let's see. I love those new power supplies. Yeah, they're really nice. Like I wanted to get one, but I obviously, like, I don't know if I can spare the money for it. But now that you've given that donation, maybe you'll see it on the channel now. Here, I have these longer screws. Unfortunately, they're not black, but what can we do? All right, so what do you guys vote? Fan out or fan in? I got a lot of flack from my previous build because I actually prefer fan in and help draw some of the air out of the case. But I know that the theory is that you would put more heat into the power supply, reduce efficiency. But I don't think, I mean, if you have an issue with the power supply overheating because of that, I think you have other problems. And so for me, it wasn't a big deal, but I got a lot of like comments about how crappy that idea was. But I don't know. I'm not like, even now, like I don't mind doing fan out. What do you all vote for? If you guys don't say anything, it's gonna be fan out. Okay, so Steve wrote, I'll be doing a new build later. Oh. And then Steve also wrote, in my opinion, that's only important if you are utilizing more than 80% of the power supply on max load. Fan out? Oh, okay, we're going fan out then. Okay, we'll go fan out. Yeah, I totally agree with you, Steve. Like, again, if I said, if your power supply is overheating just because it's drawing air from inside your case, that means the inside of your case is like boiling. So like, you need to figure that out before you like complain about your power supply getting hot air. In my opinion. Hold on. I think the designer here screwed up. Wait a minute. Do I really only have... Hold on a second. I think it... Alright, so this is one of the compromises I had to make with this particular layout, is that I couldn't utilize all the holes. I'm not sure how I feel about this anymore. I might have to change this. Because right now, with the fan out, the holes don't line up for the ones I thought they did. I screwed that up. But right now it's only got 2 holding it up. But thankfully, because we are going inverted, my idea was that the 2 screws were only there to really kind of like hold it in place so it doesn't shuffle around. But the weight of the power supply is actually going to be resting on this maker beam. So I'm not concerned about the actual like power supply like drooping or whatever, but I guess I miscalculated where that hole needed to be. This was pretty hard though, because the compromise was, I guess I can ask the chat right now, like, oh, fan in then. No, we'll just leave it like this. It's okay. But I can ask you all right now, like, how important is it to get the I/O shield? No, that is important because some motherboards have it built in. Okay, so we'll have to. I'll have to figure out how to deal with that then. Unless, I mean, for me personally, I'm okay with this. Like, this isn't going anywhere, and it is resting on the maker beam right now. So the weight, I'm not worried about it, but it is. Whatever, it's a free case. Maybe it's okay. Okay, so I did want to show that you could use this with a... Move out of the way. Oh, maybe I should stay there, actually. Actually, no, maybe if I move this case, the light ring will help you see through it. Okay, cool. It kind of does. Maybe I'll move it over this way. Okay, so what you're seeing here is the top of the fan for the heatsink. So I believe this heatsink is around 50 millimeters. And so, again, it's kind of weird to have like a huge ATX motherboard and having like a tiny little CPU cooler. But it is possible. I mean, in my particular builds, I've put like my 5800X3D with like a small little Noctua like L9A. And it's not the best. It's not advised to do it, but like with a 0.3 volt, or is it 30% like offset of the V core, I was able to kind of undervolt it, and it hasn't given me any problems. So it is possible, but again, it is one of those things where you do have to kind of make like a slight compromise or kind of like an involved tweak to make this work. But I think if you're going small form factor PC, it's kind of like part of the game. But I did want to just have that little crappy cooler in there just to show that you can use this with an air cooler if you really wanted. And that's actually the same case for this build over here. It's kind of the same layout in a sense, where the CPU cooler is also sandwiched in between. And people ask like, oh, can I put an air cooler? And I always said yes, but never actually showed it. But this kind of just proves that you can do it. Not ideal, but totally doable. Especially now that the faster, or sorry, the newer CPUs are way more like energy efficient. I'm talking about AMD, not Intel. Intel's kind of like in the shiza right now, unfortunately, but they'll come back. They always come back. So yeah, this just to show that you can do air cooling. And then let me go ahead and I guess I'll just throw in the I'll just throw in the video card now. This thing still works, by the way. And Steve, believe it or not, this video card is the video card I used to use when we first met. Like when we were playing Grand Theft Auto, I had 2 of these in Crossfire. And I don't know if you remember me about like always heating up my room whenever we played in the summer, but yeah, this was the heat source that caused all the swamp ass while we played Grand Theft Auto. Oh my god, impressive that so I don't know if it's still running though, so that's I didn't say it was still running. I still have it, but I don't know if it's running anymore. So it actually lived with my brother, because when I upgraded, I gave them all my old parts. So I was able to make like 2 PCs because it was a Crossfire build. And but yeah, this is what I used whenever we played, and we trolled on all those people and did all the shiza. But so if you want air cooling with a small air cooler, you're kind of left with this right over here. So you've got your full-size power supply. Obviously you can go like longer because there's nothing really like stopping you from going this way. All it does is basically, it does kind of block some of the air, but in terms of the physical size, there's nothing stopping you from going for a longer power supply. This video card is not the longest, but again, theoretically, there should be enough space in here to accommodate an RTX 5090 like Founders Edition, including the cable. So, but again, I have no way to prove that. All I can say is that it's a big maybe. But maybe Steve Burr can prove that later on when he has his new build. But he's not going to be putting his build in a 3D printed case. I can guess that much. But yeah, let me just throw in this this radiator to kind of just show you where it's supposed to live, in case you do go that route. I think I might have to like shuffle the bracket around a little bit. Yeah, I do. But let me go ahead and do that right now. All I gotta do is just loosen this up slightly. And it just pulled out. Okay, we're putting that one away. We still have some of these black eyes, so let me go ahead and... Oh no, but I lost the... Man. Because I removed it all the way, the T-nut shifted. But I think if I put it on the side, we'll have better access to it. But that is, I guess, like something you learned here, is that if you want to fiddle with the placement of these things, just place it on its side and it should make your life easier. Hopefully. Alright, so we're going to line this up here. Well, I actually could have worked the way it was. What am I thinking? Is it because I wanted the barbs to be on the bottom? Maybe that's what it was, but right now it seems to work. Okay, let me go ahead and just tighten that up then. But Steve, you said you want to build a PC this year. You've got some pretty sick options though. Are you going to go AMD? I know you've been Intel for a while. Like I do both. I don't really care, but I think you probably read that Intel's probably not like the best choice right now. That would be sick though. By the time you build, maybe the 9950X 3D will be out. That'll be sick. I have in the streaming PC that I'm using right now, it's the old 5950X, and it's an awesome CPU. Even today, like I can't really ask for much more. My gaming PC has the 5800X 3D, and that's also pretty sick considering how old it is too. So really not much to complain about on that end. Okay, so I think I can still put this on its end. Nice. Okay, so I think, is that straight? Guess we'll find out. Actually, that's kind of sketchy. I just took apart this AIO today, and there's still water in it, and I'm afraid to like have it drip into this power supply. So let me go ahead and put it on its side again. Or maybe, yeah, let's put it on its side. So right now I'm not comfortable with it on its side because of this power supply, because it is actually now torquing in. Oh, stupid zoom. Okay. Okay, so it's torquing in, so maybe I should just put it fan in for the time being. I don't know how to actually resolve this though. There's no way for that. Like without drilling into the actual extrusion, there's no way for me to gain access to that hole. What would happen is I could move it inboard, and then we would just lose clearance in between the power supply and the air cooler. But it may just be that like, hey, like, don't be a goofball, just use water cooling. That's a hard ask though, I think, so maybe it's not a good attitude to have. But it feels like it might be what we're left with though. Wait a minute, hold on one second. I think did I design this for an actual, I think I designed this for an actual fan screw. But I think this should still work though. Let's find out. Okay, so Steve Burrow, I think I think I will be making the switch to AMD since Intel is kind of trash right now. Yeah, I think you might not have a choice. I think like to drop down like $700 on their like what is it, the 295 or whatever it's called, like it's just like not good money spent, especially since like I think the majority of the use case is going to be for gaming. Like there's no real, and I know that the productivity scores for Intel are like very impressive, but not impressive enough to like offset all the downsides they have. So yeah, I think AMD is going to be your jam. We're almost done here though. What time is it? 4:48. Again, thank you so much for sticking around for another 2-hour stream. But I guess 2 hours is not that bad. I mean, I watch some of my game streamers and they're going for like 8 hours sometimes. Like I will like turn it on while I'm doing CAD and they're like still at it. So 2 hours ain't that bad. But I guess it's different context, right? So wait a second, did I just strip? Oh my god, I put in the wrong screw and I almost stripped that whole goober. I may have, no, I didn't strip it, thank goodness, but that would have been sad because I really like this this radiator. If you've watched my other videos, this is the same radiator that I used in my my AMD Quantum PC replica, and you're seeing these little like this anodized red. It's like little like cladding or facades they put on, but you can actually take it off and have the radiator like fully bare, and it makes it so much smaller. So if you want to do like case modding with it, it's a really cool radiator to have. I think that the recent video from Not From Concentrate, the NFC channel, they used this radiator to make like an all-in-one like water-cooled 4090, where again, because the PCB is so short, they had room to actually put this radiator inside the card. But that was really only possible because this radiator, you can modify it so that you can take away some of the parts and make it smaller. So it's a really nice radiator. So I was gonna cry if I stripped it, but I didn't. So we're all good. All right, so I think we're kind of done here. The last thing I could maybe put on, I should have put on, you know what, no, maybe we'll take out the power supply right now and piss people off in the photos when they see that the power supply is facing in, because I forgot to put in the power switch. So let's go ahead and do that right now, and then we'll kill two birds with one stone by flipping this thing so it's not freaking me out. But blame the designer. You know that the guy who designed this thing, I don't know about that guy. No wonder his cases are free. But let's see, I'm trying to get this. So it just uses a normal like 16mm button. I think I have it linked in my description where these come with leads, but the ones I use don't have leads because sometimes I just put them in different places, and so I always have to like solder in my own, or sometimes I even just use like the twist method. It doesn't really matter for me. And I just kind of throw them wherever I need them. But in the link though, I do have the ones that have leads built in, and some of them even have LEDs so that like when you turn it on, you'll know that your PC's on if you don't have like other lights like RGB or whatever. Like I think, let me see. Yes. So I have this one here that I haven't used yet, but it has like a little small. So inside it is an LED so that whenever I do turn it on, it lights up. And obviously these are the connections to both the momentary switch and the leads to power the LED inside. So I haven't used it yet. I have another one that's also lit. I don't even know where it is. I think it's like in another PC or workbench or something. But anyways, yeah, they're pretty normal. But the one I have right now that I've installed in this particular case is just a little run-of-the-mill 16mm, no lights, but it does fit pretty nice inside there. Let me go ahead and zoom in on this. Yeah, so there's a little button here. Give it a little press, give it a little lick if you need to. But yeah, it sits pretty flush in there, so it's kind of nice because it is quite a thicker frame that I put on here, but it sits pretty flush. And that's where the power lead will live. And let me now go ahead and reinstall the power supply in the way that allows it to have at least 3 points of contact. I'm gonna get flack for this though, I know it. Watch, I'll be posting the photo tonight and they're gonna be like, turn that power supply around. And I'm gonna be like, no, you're not my dad. That's what I'll say to them. And it'll actually be my dad who's writing it though. Oh, wrong hole. All right, I feel better about that. So I guess in my CAD file, I CAD'd up an actual like fake power supply, and but it has holes like for every side, and so I just didn't think about it. I mean, I'll be honest, I did the CAD this morning, so so you can't blame me too much about that. But essentially though, this is what I wanted to show today, was the full-size GPU, the ATX motherboard, the air cooler as an option, and obviously the small little 120mm radiator in case you wanted to go with water cooling. I know that, again, this water cooling solution won't be the best, but it'll, in my opinion, will be a lot better than the small air cooler you're going to be forced with inside there. Now, obviously, there's many ways to like modify this case because it is using MakerBeam. Like for instance, if we really wanted to, we could like throw in, I mean, it even slides in here, I think. Yeah, so like this is a SFX power supply, so we could even put an adapter in there and then be able to put a larger air cooler inside, because right now really our limitation for our cooling is because this power supply is just large. Like ATX is just a big power supply, right? And so however, if you do change it to an SFX, you would gain about, like, I think it's around 20 millimeters of space. So I think it opens you up for like the Black Ridge, I think, which is a pretty good like small form factor cooler, and that's totally easy too. I mean, like this power supply, it comes with like it comes with an adapter, so you could just like, because the mounting holes for this are ATX, you could just use this ATX to SFX adapter and then throw that in there. And nowadays too, like this power supply I have in here is only a 750 watt, but this is an SF600, but they now come in like 1000. The SF1000s are really nice power supply. I have the 750 in my other PC, and honestly, with the 1000, you could run like the 9800X3D with the RTX 5090 just fine. I think there's like really popular YouTubers doing that now. So you don't need to go full ATX. I just put it in because I know that like many people just have ATX ATX Power Supply and then ATX Motherboard and full size GPU. And I think I really just wanted to capture those people who want to kind of slim down their builds but still be able to keep most of their parts. So I think it does that. I think this PC does do that. Well, besides needing like, I guess you don't need, there's so much space in here that you don't need custom cables, but I feel like if you have a build that's like pretty high end, you should just go custom anyways. It's just so much nicer. If you see my other videos, like you'll see that, like for instance, in this build over here, the first ATX one, it had custom cables, and it's just so satisfying to literally just like connect dot to dot without any like finagling and like scrunching of cables. It's just a beautiful thing. So if you are gonna be going with a build like this, just get custom cables. I think it's totally worth it. We're almost at 2 hours, 3 minutes too. And again, I want to thank everyone for joining today, and give a huge shout out to Steve Burr for giving those donations that almost got him into a fraud alert. I really do appreciate that. I mean, obviously I don't expect that from everyone around here, but Steve, thank you so much for that. I do appreciate that, and I need to find a way to like thank you properly for that. But if you do want to help the channel out, I do have a Patreon link in the description. Giving these videos likes and also like sharing and commenting and helps out the video. And obviously if you want to see more, you can subscribe. But for now, this I think is pretty successful for a first trial. You'll see more of it coming soon. My cousin actually asked for a case, and I didn't tell her I was going to do it, but this is for her in a sense. Basically, you'll see it in the future. It'll be interesting, I think. Maybe, yeah, it'll be interesting. I think it'll be fun. All right, so Steve Burr wrote, bring me another double from In-N-Out. So the backstory on that is that I was visiting Steve in the state that he lives, that he does not live. You know, we no longer live in the same state, but he was missing In-N-Out burger, so I actually like bought In-N-Out and brought In-N-Out on the plane. I don't know. It must have been at a time where they were more lax. I don't understand how I was able to bring on like food onto the airplane to bring to you. But anyways, they allowed me to bring In-N-Out on the airplane through TSA, and then yeah, Steve got to eat really cold like 4-hour-old In-N-Out. But yeah, I'll do that again for you, Steve. But I think you have In-N-Out now, don't you? But anyways, I think that's the end of the stream. It's not the end of the build. There's a lot more that's going to happen. When I have it showcased, I'm actually going to be putting in the streaming PC that's being used right now. So it's going to be the 5900, so the 5950X, not the 3D, just 5950X. I do use like an Intel video card for this streaming PC. That's what's running right now, and that's going to be also put in here. And I think, according to my CAD, if I squeeze it to the left, I'm able to fit a 240mm AIO even in the ATX mode, but I'll have to double check that. But anyways, this is not the end of this, so thank you so much for joining. and I'll try to be back next week with more updates to this. Or it may be that my ADHD kicked in and I have another PC I'm working on, because I don't know if you remember, my previous case was like the one with the built-in monitor, and it was supposed to be done this week, but I kind of didn't let it get finished. So who knows, but I'll try to be on next week again with more stuff. And again, thank you so much for joining. And yeah, I'll see you all in the next one. So let me read this last thing from PC Load Letter. Wrote, I had a coworker who moved to the East Coast. I used to send him In-N-Out burger wrappers through inter-office mail. Wait, what? So he would just be sitting there like smelling the wrapper there. That's hurting, but I do love my In-N-Out, and man, do I want In-N-Out tonight? He just got inception. But anyways, enough about that. Again, thank you everyone for joining. Again, a big thanks to Steve, and yeah, we will see you all in the next one. So let me do my little like not knowing how to turn this off properly, and say goodbye to you all, and I hope everyone enjoys the weekend. So PC Load Letter wrote, have a good weekend. And yeah, have a good weekend to everyone as well too. All right, so I'm gonna stop streaming and I'll say goodbye right now. All right, bye.